In this video, we're going to talk about how Spotify's algorithmic playlists actually work, because I've seen a lot in comments and from talking to people one-on-one in consultations that a lot of people don't really understand all the details of how they work. And that makes sense because I didn't really understand how they work until just doing this song after song, seeing the data come in and figuring it out. So I thought I'd just put this all in one place so you know exactly how they work. So first we're going to talk about Release Radar, then Discover Weekly, and then we'll talk about some of the other algorithmic playlists Spotify has available at the end. So first, share my screen. We're going to talk about Release Radar. So I guess first, just in case you're not familiar and you don't have Spotify, to find it, like if you go to your homepage, at least on desktop, you can go to this Made For section and then click See All and go down to Release Radar and you'll see this playlist. So the description: catch all the latest music from artists you follow, plus new singles picked for you, updates every Friday. So a few pieces of information, right? Catch all the latest music from artists you follow. That portion a lot of artists understand. If you follow someone on Spotify, their new songs are going to be in your Release Radar. But the second part, plus new singles picked for you, there's a second part of Release Radar that is algorithm driven, meaning they're putting songs on people's Release Radars that they've never heard of, that artist, based on if they think they'll like it. Then the other last portion is that it only updates on Fridays. Now, if we look at this data here for this song Life is Short, this is all my ad campaign and any organic stuff, basically. But then we see this big spike on Friday. And if we go forward, we get another spike on Friday. And we go forward again, we get another spike on Friday. So you can only be on Release Radar for the first 28 days that your song comes out. That is true no matter if it's the follower Release Radar or the algorithmic Release Radar. So a lot of these spikes are actually the algorithmic Release Radar because I couldn't account for them with my followers. Like I think right now I have 8,000 followers. You might think, oh, 8,000 followers, you can get like 20,000 streams off of that, right? And the thing is, no. A lot of people don't actually use Release Radar. Enough do that because there's so many millions of people that it can make a big difference, but most people really don't. So you'd be lucky if 10% of your followers listen to your song on Release Radar, because they might be following hundreds of artists too. So even if they use it, they might not actually end up hearing your song. 800 people, that's really like the best I could hope for. And we see way more than that happening in the song. I'll go back, change this time. We see there's this first one alone is 1,600, 1,700, 1,900. So it's not from my followers, it's from the algorithmic side of things. And it's kind of hard to predict if your song is going to get that algorithmic push. Like by default, no matter what, your followers get your song on Release Radar. So like some of this initial traffic is from my followers. Some of the data from these spikes is from my followers, and that's cool. But it's not all of it, and it's not even the majority of it. What happens is after your song does good, which is kind of relative, check out this video here on popularity index because I kind of talk a little bit about this there. If your song does good in the first 4 weeks, really the first 2 or 3 weeks, Spotify is just going to push it out. And the size of this can be pretty big. 2,000 streams. I've seen other cases where it's like 5,000 streams or 10,000 streams. Not necessarily in my songs, but I've seen a lot of people's Spotify for Artists. And it can be pretty massive or it can be small. It can be a couple hundred extra than you'd expect. But that's the kind of two sides of Release Radar. So people will often leave comments saying like, it's only for your followers. And as I can see, I hope that I prove to you that that's not the case. And now going forward, I can just link those people to this video and you know what to do. So next, we're going to talk about Discover Weekly. So I'm going to bring up my Spotify here again. We're going to go back to this page and click on Discover Weekly. So here, the description is your weekly mixtape of fresh music. Enjoy new music and deep cuts picked for you. Updates every Monday. So a little less data in here. Basically, it's just the whole point of Discover Weekly is music you've never heard that they think you'll like, and it updates every Monday. So if we go and look at the data, and I'll use Life is Short again, but I'll show you another song after. The last 12 months. I think even within the first month, we had a Monday spike. But it was small. But you can go here, and we'll probably see some random spikes that are Mondays. So this is a Monday spike. This is a little Monday spike. Monday spike. Monday spike. Oh, that's not one. This one's a definite Monday spike. So you can see that like a lot of these little spikes are Discover Weekly. So let's look at a more extreme example. I'm going to go to my song Chains just because this one has the most amount of data. It's been out for over a year now, or yeah, I think over a year now. So you get this a lot of spikes, and some of them are massive and some of them are small. But we can go through here, and we're going to see Monday. Nothing that Monday, but this Monday, much bigger. Monday. You know, it kind of keeps on going. But that's all Discover Weekly. And I can go back to playlists here, change it to last, or I guess since 2015, and 180,000 streams. So like that is Discover Weekly, and that's just how it works. It updates every Monday. And again, Music Stack's popularity index video is up there in that little eye. If you want to watch about like how you can kind of use your data to predict if you're going to get on these algorithmic playlists, but that's just how it works. Now, another very important part about Discover Weekly is that it ebbs and flows. A lot of people will say, hey, Andrew, I got on Discover Weekly. I only got like 10 streams. And I can show you cases where that's happened. My song Best Friend didn't do super hot. This song, did it even? Yeah, it got 120 streams from Discover Weekly. And that's it. And that's not too surprising. Even songs like, I guess, Socialize, which is 330,000 streams. When it first got on Discover Weekly, it wasn't like massive. But if we look at the stats, we're going to see some pretty big ebbs and flows. Like this back here is a Monday. But even if we assume that this spike here is actually the first Discover Weekly, that's only like a difference of 300 streams, right? For that, maybe it was like 1,000 for that whole week. And then it was even smaller for the week after that. And it kind of just maintained that point for a while. But then randomly one day it finally takes off, and then it just kind of keeps getting these recurring spikes that they kind of ebb and flow over time. So it is fairly normal, and I'll give you a second example with my song Chains, to see this kind of behavior. Like this is a Monday, that's a Monday, it's a Monday. It kind of like starts off with this small thing. It's kind of like you can use ads to get onto Discover Weekly, but only performing well on Discover Weekly will cause you to stay and grow on Discover Weekly. Which just comes down to song quality and how well Spotify can find an audience for your music. It could be the case that you're doing a genre of music that they don't think, like maybe they can't find enough people for it to get the kind of volume you'd see with Chains, and that's just because Chains is a pretty mainstream appealing song. It's like electronic pop. It's like very pop, but with a little bit of electronic, so it's very, very mainstream. It's a catchy kind of pop track. So if you're doing like experimental folk jazz, you don't expect your pushes to necessarily be of the same magnitude, just because of the amount of people that they can find. Even if it does great in Discover Weekly, they might not be able to push it out to the same scale necessarily. So that's how Discover Weekly works, but there actually are a whole bunch of other algorithmic playlists that can actually be pretty sizable. So we're going to talk about those right now, right after a message from this video's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. It's curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes, so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. And one of the cool things I like about Skillshare, especially related to like you, person watching this video, is that you're likely a musician, I'm assuming, and you're also interested in marketing music, which means you need to learn how to use music software, which is very complicated. I've been using it for years now, but there was a time where I had to consume tons of tutorial content to learn how to use it. And the same goes if you're making video content for your social media, video content for your ads, pictures, press images, whatever. You want to do photography so you can take great images. Whatever it is, Skillshare's got you covered. And there's a ton of courses for that, or even to learn about Facebook ads, which I talk a lot about on this channel. I don't normally cover the super basics. They get you covered there, and they got a lot of courses as well. And by the way, the best part, the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so you can start exploring your creativity today. You can go in there, you can check out courses, learn some stuff, and if you like it, keep going with the subscription and expand your skill set. Anyways, back to the video. All right, so as promised, let's look into these other algorithmic playlists. I'm going to go to playlists here. We're going to go to since 2015. So you can see that clearly Discover Weekly is the biggest driver. But I talk a lot about release radar, and a lot of other people do. It's smaller. It's like half the size of radio. And no one talks about this algorithmic radio playlist, but it's pretty large. I mean, it's nothing compared to Discover Weekly, but like you can't really complain about 56,000 streams, you know? And it's like, if you look at the listen rate, it's like people who listen to me on radio listen to 2.5 songs on average, whereas on Release Radar, they listen to like 1.5 on average. So not only is it getting me more volume, but it's actually showing the people on it are listening to more of my music, which is ultimately a huge win. So the way radio works, and this is kind of the most confusing one, because I pay for Spotify, but if I go, and I'll just go onto my Spotify page here. So there's like a play button here, but if I play this, it's going to play one of my songs, and it's going to keep shuffling through all of my music. And I'm fairly certain that that is radio, but the main thing that I know is radio is actually something that I can't show you here. Actually, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. So the way you go to Artist Radio, and the reason why I thought I couldn't do it here is because this is more of a thing for the free plans, especially on mobile. If you're on a mobile phone and you're on a free version of Spotify, and you go to an artist page, you usually can't pick a specific song. You can either play a playlist that the artist has on their page, or you can shuffle their library by playing the Artist Radio. But if you click these 3 dots on a paid plan, you can go to Artist Radio, and this is one of the radio placements. It combines my music with other music that people think people that like my music will enjoy. And this is an algorithmic playlist. Now, this thing, like, this is cool, right? But another side of this is if someone goes to a different artist, I might be on their radio. So I don't know if I go on the news, who I've never listened to. I should probably check them out for later. If I go to their artist radio, yeah, one of my songs shows up here. I don't know if any more do. Looks like no, just that one, which is kind of funny. But so it's kind of a blend of those two placements where I didn't even know you could look at this computer. I've only seen it on phones before, but this is radio. So you can either be on your profile or it can be on the another artist profile, and it's pretty massive. You know, like it's like 20% or so of Discover Weekly, and it's bigger than Release Radar. I don't have any data on how to like cause this to happen. It just kind of grew over time. I wish there was a way to plot radio over time so I could see how it's grown, but I remember I never even noticed it until like this year. Yeah, so now there's still more. I can click Show All, and I'm not going to go through every single one of these individually because some of them are pretty self-describing. Like on repeat, this is like if someone's listening to your song a lot, they're going to get recommended an on repeat playlist. And if I open up Spotify again, I can go back home and I can scroll down to Made for Generic Studios. And they actually don't even have it here. Probably because I haven't listened to that much music on Spotify recently. But that's how that one works. Now, Daily Mix, it kind of groups your music listening habits into buckets. Like there's this Taylor Swift one, which maybe that's from car rides with my girlfriend. Because I don't think I've ever listened to Taylor Swift on my own. And so we can go here and we can see that it's relatively small, like 5,000 streams, which, as you know, again, I know for some people 5,000 streams is a lot, but as a percentage of like Release Radar and radio, it's relatively small. That's where that comes from. And then the rest of these are kind of historical things. So like someone listened to a lot of my music in 2020, they're going to get recommended. Repeat Rewind is just like on repeat from like previous years. Your top song is 2019. Your summer rewind. Spotify makes these kind of categorical time frame things every so often, and that's where the rest of these come into play. So anyways, that's how Spotify's algorithmic playlists actually work. If you want to see how I promote my music with Facebook ads, which is the main way that I've gotten all these streams, check out this playlist right here. There's a ton of videos in there that'll teach you how I do it. And then if you want to watch whatever video YouTube thinks you should check out that bottom one right there. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.